Hello, boys and girls. This is our third read of A Cupcake Party. And this is our last selection that we're reading in our Grade 1 Journeys student text. And this week we talked about how this story is a fantasy. It can never happen. The characters are all make-believe. We talked about plot. Plot is the order of the story events, and it includes, most of the time, the problem and the solution. And we also talked about the setting. The setting is when and where the story takes place. Over here, showing like a forest in a rural area. And this one took place in a treehouse. Okay, so if you're, this is Wednesday, and for your special assignment, you need to take out your cupcake writing activity, and you have to write down the names of the characters and the setting. And so, here they are. You can stop the video and write these down. The characters in our story were Fritz, Jack the dog, Glenn the bear, Kit the cat, Stan the skunk, and Fran the stork. The setting was a tree house. And this is what the kids in my classroom last year told me, but this is Wednesday, and so you have your 3 hours of independent work, and this will be a good time to get this booklet done. Okay, it says, like in the beginning, I'm going to tell you what the plot is. In the beginning, Fritz missed his friends. So that was his problem. And it looks like this in your book. And invited them to a party. That's going to be his solution. He had a problem. He missed his friends. And his solution is to invite them to a party. So go ahead and write that down for the beginning page as you're writing the plot of the story. In the middle of the story, it says, this is what my kids last year told me, then he made special cupcakes with each of their pictures. So if you'll copy that down right here, that's what happened in the middle of the story. We're retelling the plot, and this is what happened in the middle of the story. He made special cupcakes with each of their pictures. Okay, and what happens at the end? What happens at the end of the story? They said, last, they all ate cupcakes, and Fritz ate an acorn. So if you will finish, I want you to complete this for your language arts activity today. You can stop the video and copy these words down. This is a great resource so you don't have to do it all by yourself. Okay, so now we're going to reread A Cupcake Party, and I'm going to tell you, well, we're going to ask some questions at the end. And right now I want to tell you that the author and the illustrator, I'm reviewing this with you, is David McPhail. And he's the one that wanted to be a baseball player and a guitarist in a band, but he wasn't any good at it. So he did learn that in art school that he was great at drawing pictures. Remember that about him. So A Cupcake Party. Okay, go ahead and track the words with me. Hopefully it's not like yesterday where the video's all glitchy. Maybe it was a ghost from Halloween. So here's Fritz. It says, are your fingers underneath the words? Ready? Read with me. I miss my friends, Fritz said. I must have a big party. Fritz had a list of friends to ask to his party. Fritz went to ask Kit. I will come, Kit said. It will be grand. Fritz went to ask Jack next. Jack said yes. A party is fun, Jack said. Fritz met Fran and Stan at a tree stump. Fran and Stan said yes, too. Are you tracking with your fingers? This is your last read. Fritz went to ask Glenn last. I will not miss it, Glenn said. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, look, he's putting those cupcakes into the oven to bake them. Fritz baked cupcakes to give to his friends. He put a small picture on every one. Fritz felt glad to see his friends. You can tell by his body language that he's super glad. Take the cupcake with a picture of you on it, Fritz said. His friends had a snack for Fritz, too. And there he is eating his acorn. Yum! Now we can eat and have fun, Fritz said. I can tell they all love one another. They're so thoughtful to bring him that acorn to eat. And he was so thoughtful to bake them those cupcakes and to invite them over so they all could play. Okay, here are my questions. And remember, you can always look back in your stories and use the pictures and the words to help you answer questions. So it asks, and you guys can show me with your fingers. Actually, you can't because it's Wednesday. So you just guess, okay? David McPhail is the author and of the book. Is he the author and reader of the book? The author and illustrator of the book? Or the author and editor of the book? He's the author and illustrator of the book. That means he drew all the pictures. So what's his book mostly about? Is it mostly about jungle animals, making cupcakes? Or is it about a chipmunk that invites his friends to a party? If you answered it's mostly about a chipmunk who invites his friends to a party, you're correct. Okay, so a book that tells about made-up people and animals or animals and events is it a fantasy, a biography, or realistic fiction? Yes, it's a fantasy. This book is a fantasy. It's make-believe. It's baloney. Okay, at the beginning of the story, Fritz is talking to Kat, making cupcakes, or inside his home. So look at this. It's the beginning of the story. Yep, he was inside his home. Okay, next one. What does Fritz do after he decides to have a party? Does he make cupcakes? Does he make a list of friends to invite? Or does he go to school? He makes a list of friends to invite. When he decided to have a party, he got right to it and made a list of friends to invite. Which friend does Fritz invite first? Was it Kit? Was it Jack? Or was it Fran and Stan? Dun 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 dun. It was Kit. I hope you said that. What treat did Fritz prepare for the party? Did Fritz prepare cupcakes, punch and cookies, or popcorn? He prepared cupcakes. Remember that? Which was not a setting in this story. Remember, a setting is a place. Which was not a setting. A grassy meadow, Fritz's home, or a classroom. Did you say a classroom? Here's the grassy meadow. It has a tree stump in it. Here's a grassy meadow. It has grass. And we were in Fritz's home at the beginning. So those were settings in this story. But I never saw a classroom. None of this happened in a classroom. So that was not a setting. What does baked mean? When he baked his cupcake, what does that mean, baked? Does that mean he fried it? He fried the cupcakes? Does that mean he cooked them in the oven? Or does that mean he cooked them on a barbecue grill? Baked means cooked in an oven. He cooked them in an oven. So which animals were not in the story? Okay, the ones that were not in the story. Cat and dog, bird and skunk, goat and sheep. If you said that goat and sheep were not in the story, you were right. Good job. What's a tall woody plant with a trunk and branches? A tall woody plant with trunk and branches. Is it a tree? Is it a shrub? Or is it a bush? A tall woody plant with trunk and branches is a tree. It's tall, it's woody, it has a trunk, and it has branches. It's a tree. So what happens at the end of the story? Do the friends play games outside at the end of the story? Do they all go home at the end of the story? Let's get to the end. This is the end of the story. Or do they eat and have fun at the end of the story? And this is the end because look. Yes, they eat and have fun at the end of the story. Okay, boys and girls, you did a great job. Toodaloo.